Good morning, Alpha 40 fans. Welcome to another monthly deck tech and discussion video for September 2025. In today's video, I'm going to take a look at the top 8 deck lists that I ran in the monthly online league for August. I'll give you a recap of the matches that I played last month and make some suggestions to this deck list to try to improve upon its performance for next month. If you're a fan of Alpha 40, do like this video and subscribe to my channel and check out my playlist. I'll link that in the description below. If you want to see all of my other Alpha 40 deck techs and discussion videos, I've been playing Alpha 40 ever since I started my YouTube channel 3 years ago, so I have a lot of content regarding Alpha 40 and different deck lists as the meta has evolved. This deck is 41 cards. 40 is the minimum, so I'm running one extra card. There are 12 basic mountains in this deck for all the red spells. This is kind of my mana base here. It is a red-white burn deck, so I'm running one copy of the Plateau, which is the red-white dual land. You're allowed one copy of each of the dual lands in Alpha. I'm running 3 copies of basic planes for the white spells that I'm splashing in this deck. For the red spells, I'm running 3 copies of Lightning Bolt. It's moderated to 3 copies. You're allowed 3 copies of Lightning Bolt. Those are great for getting rid of creatures and doing direct damage to your opponent. I'm running 4 copies of Disintegrate, which is great for removing creatures from the game and doing direct damage to your opponent. I'm running 2 copies of Fireball to remove multiple small creatures or do direct damage to your opponent. I'm running 1 copy of the enchantment Mana Flare. It's a rare red spell that doubles the mana produced by lands and doubles your opponent's mana produced by their lands, so watch out for that. I'm running 1 copy of Fork, which is an interrupt. It's been eroded to an instant in the Alpha 40 rules. It does duplicate any sorcery or instant spell. I like to duplicate fireballs with the Fork. I'm running 1 copy of Wheel of Fortune, which is great for drawing cards and making sure your opponent has 7 cards in their hand. 1 copy of Shatter, which destroys artifacts. And I'm running in the white spells 3 copies of Disenchant. This gets rid of target enchantments or artifacts on your opponent's side. You could get rid of some of your artifacts if you wanted to, but I'm going to stick to getting rid of my opponent's artifacts. Speaking of artifacts, I am running 9 artifacts in this deck, starting with Iron Star to give myself life off of my red spells or my opponent's red spells, which will come into play this month. 1 copy of Soul Ring for colorless mana. 3 copies of Black Vise. This is also an alternate win condition if my opponent is running Circle of Protection reds and I can't attack them with my red spells. My other option is to make them draw cards and take damage. One way I can do that is with Howling Mine. This lets each player draw an extra card on their draw step, so that helps keep cards in my opponent's hand. I'm running 1 copy of Chaos Orb to get rid of my opponent's permanents, which you can flip onto the table. 1 copy of Basalt Monolith. This adds 3 colorless mana to my mana pool, and then you have to pay 3 colorless to untap it. I'm also running 1 copy of JM Tome. This is the 41st card in the deck. Tap it for 4 mana, and I can draw an extra card, which helps me get some of my X spells into my hand when I need them, and also draw land. If I'm not drawing land, I can draw an extra card and try to get that. With Howling Mine on the table, I can potentially draw 1, 2, 3 cards per turn with the tome, so I like that a lot for card advantage. Now let's get into the matches and let you know how I did last month. I won my first matchup 2-1. It was a red-black creature-heavy deck. He was running a lot of Ironclaw Orcs and Hurloon Minotaurs that I was able to disintegrate pretty frequently. I was gaining life off of the Iron Star, which was very helpful since he was casting red spells. The second game, he was doing more Dwarven Warriors, so lots of smaller red creatures that I was able to Fireball or Disintegrate or sometimes Lightning Bolt. He kept adding Fire Breathing onto them, and I was able to disenchant the Fire Breathing sometimes. He did have Howl from Beyond, which was a good black card for him in his deck, especially when he was able to put the Gauntlet of Might down and get a bunch of mana quickly. However, in the second game, I did Fireball for 6 and Fork it for 2 more red mana and take the victory there. In the third game of that matchup, I I started with a Black Vise, which is helpful. Then I shattered some of his artifacts. He had more Dwarven Warriors, which I was able to Lightning Bolt, and then I was even able to Lightning Bolt and fork a Lightning Bolt, his Hurloon Minotaurs, and then finally I was able to Disintegrate for the win. In the second match, I did lose in 2 games to an opponent who was running a mono black deck. His deck was pretty lethal against this matchup. He was running a lot of dark rituals, which he was able to get hippies out on the first turn. I did fireball those. I did get some vices out, but he was able to ritual again to get black knights out. I did Wheel of Fortune in the first game, but he had some sinkholes. He demonic tutored for a black lotus and was able to drain life meat for the win in the first game. The second game was a little more challenging, but he had 3 sinkholes that he found to get rid of all of my mountains and plateau. So I was challenged to get red spells out in the second game. I did get a JMD Tome out, but he had a Senger Vampire plus the Howling Mime meant we were both drawing cards. He was able to ritual again for a demonic tutor and get a 10-10 nightmare out. And then from there, he was able to drain life for the win. So that was the second game. 1-1 on the month. There was a smaller pod of players this month, so many of us got a bye in the first round of the playoffs. I made it into the top 8 and faced a red-white Orcish artillery deck. That deck was very competitive. It went to 3 games. In the first game, I ended up forking a Disintegrate for the win. We went back and forth with a lot of, he played Orcish Artillery and Mesa Pegasus and COP Reds. I had Disenchants, I had Disintegrates, I had Lightning Bolts. The second game, though, however, he had 3 copies of Circle of Protection Red out on the table, and it took me a while, but I had to get all of the Disenchants in my deck to try to get around all of his COP Reds, and I was not able to do it. He was able to fireball for 9 and take game number 2, and then in the third game, very similar. It went much quicker. I did have Black Vices out on turn 1, but he was able to cast cards like Lightning Bolt and Orcish Artillery and overwhelm me with Mesa Pegasus, and then he finally got the victory with a Fireball and a Lightning Bolt in the third game. So for September, I'm going to try to add a 4th copy of Disenchant to my deck just in case I run into another red-white Orcish Artillery deck that's running Circle of Protection Reds. So in order to do that, I'm going to increase the mana base slightly. I'm going to add 1 more plains so that I have 4 basic plains. I'm going to take out 2 mountains and go down to 15 lands. This is something I've tried a couple months before. It's a little tighter with only 15 lands in the deck, but there was a couple games last month where I was just flooded with mana drawing too many mountains. So I think if I make it a little bit tighter and go down to 40 cards and only 15 lands, I should be able to find the lands I need to cast Disenchant more effectively. I'm also going to take out this Shatter, basically swap a Shatter for the Disenchant so that I have equal ability to get rid of enchantments or artifacts. So a lot of opponents will play cards like Black Vice or Mox Jet, or what else can they play? Soul Ring is very popular. So Disenchant is good against Soul Ring. Most people do play a Soul Ring like I do. So this is going to be my 40 cards for the month of September. Let me know in the comments below how you think this will do. Disenchant is not moderated, so you can play more than 3 copies of it in Alpha 40. It's one of my favorite cards, and I think with having access to 5 white mana sources, I should be able to cast any one of these early in the game. If they get a Black Vice out on turn 1, I should be able to cast one of these on turn 2. If I needed to, and I had Mana Flare out, I could disenchant my own enchantment. However, that's usually helpful to get a very large X spell to win the game. So let's see if that happens next month. Again, like this video, subscribe to the channel, and check out my playlist of all my other Alpha 40 content. I appreciate everyone watching today. In the comments below, I'll see you in the next monthly deck tech update next month. Thanks, everyone. Have a great month.